This is 7 Minutes Cyber with Danny Lawler of Quest and myself, Sam Ginn of Code in Motion. And the 7 minutes start now.
Starts now. So, Sam, I thought the scenario for this video would be that I'm a regulated firm. I've just spent a fortune having external cybersecurity experts come in and pour over my firm, all over the network and all of the systems and critical functions. And so I'm quite pleased, but I've woken in the middle of the night in a cold sweat worrying about the website. Sure, I worry about the website. And imagine in this scenario, the website is a brochure site. I'm not, it's not a bank account website or anything like that. It's simply a brochure website. Should I be worried?
Yes, well, if I give you a one-word answer, yes. And I suppose to build out on that, yeah, I do find that when people talk about IT security or cybersecurity, they think about their IT, so their computers, their servers, their infrastructure, their data centers. But what that doesn't reflect is the fact that customers don't interact with that IT on a frequent basis directly. They interact with the firm's website. And in firms, they might assess it as being a low risk because the site is just brochureware. It's just this is who we are, this is how you can contact us. But other than that, ring our contact center and we can deal with you that way. But from a client's perspective, they don't know what the site's supposed to be. So if they go to the site and it's showing a certain contact number, or it's showing a contact us form that's looking for a lot of personal data and account data, they don't know that that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, I know from, I guess, a lot of regulated firms and companies generally will obviously be focusing on the interaction that they have with their colleagues and with clients and how monies pass around, for example. And the website can feel like part of the marketing side, part of the marketing armory, but not really that critical and not something that is going to go too badly wrong because there's nobody actually transacting any information or money through it.
Yeah.
But it can. And what kind of things could go wrong?
Well, okay, so let's imagine there is, let's use the house analogy. So you've spent all your time securing your house and you haven't thought about your mobile home down in Wexford. But all your customers are going to your mobile home down in Wexford. So they don't really notice that your house is lovely and secure. They're going down to this mobile home with limited security. They're knocking on the door and they're saying, how do I get in contact with you? What's the information I have for your contact centers? And there's a random guy in there, the fraudster, and saying, yeah, the number you need to call has now changed. Or here is a lovely form where you can input your details, your date of birth, your account number, and we'll come back to you, which is an ability then for them to impersonate the client and interact with you and get at their funds or whatever it might be. And that's relatively sophisticated from a crime perspective, but from a technology perspective, it would be very straightforward to do if the website doesn't have anything in terms of securing it and monitoring it beyond, a flimsy lock that you might have on that mobile home.
And so what is it that firms can do to make their websites more secure? I guess first and foremost is not forget about the website, even if it's really part of your marketing efforts. Don't forget about it. Keep it secure. Keep it on the agenda. What are the other things that firms would do to secure websites?
Yeah, it depends on from the technology perspective, it depends on what platform it's built on. A lot of sites would be WordPress or some other kind of content management system like that. In my experience with WordPress, there are a lot of additions that you can add in either for free or very cheaply that will do all the things that the central bank would tell you to do and best practice would tell you to do around any IT system. Securing it in terms of firewalls and preventing malicious actors getting in. Tools to alert you in terms of vulnerabilities to say that things are out of date and there's security vulnerabilities that you need to deal with. And then incident response or incident logging tools that will alert you when something unusual happens. For example, there's a login from an unusual location or using an account that didn't exist previously or attempts at password resets. So it's pretty standard from a technology perspective. It's actually very straightforward on websites because they're standalone. They're not heavily integrated with your internal systems, but they do tend to be forgotten.
Yeah, I know, because there can be a big focus on them, for example, when a new firm is launching or on a periodic basis if they're going to revamp the website. But other than that, and maybe blog posts and stuff like that, they can look pretty static and they can be forgotten about. I guess from a regulator's perspective, they will view the website as being owned by the firm and part of the firm. So they won't be in any way pleased should the website get have any issues with it or get taken over. They will expect it to be brought within the realm of the security procedures and protocols in place for the firm. So don't forget about it. Put it on the agenda. And I guess maybe as we get towards wrapping up in the video, from my perspective, it might be for directors and those in leadership positions, next board meeting, don't forget to ask about the website at the cyber part of the agenda, and just get that conversation going. Make sure it doesn't get forgotten, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case of, instead of looking at IT security from the internal perspective and the employees in the organization, look at it in terms of the ways that customers try to engage with you. So how could a fraudster get in between you and your customer? And if the way your customers engage with you and find out how to contact you is to go to your website, then you need to make sure that a fraudster can't get in there and do a simple thing like change the contact number that's on there. Because if they can do that simple thing, you know, it's a few characters on one web page, suddenly now your clients are calling a different number and they believe they're engaging with you. That's a very simple technical thing to happen. And if you don't have the tools in place to prevent it and the tools in place to alert you when it has happened, that fraud could go on for quite a while. It could become very expensive, and reputationally, it could be seriously damaging to the firm. There's our
6-minute warning. Time for you to wrap up. But I will say, absolutely, from a reputational perspective, what damage it would do to your customers' confidence in the organization that they've let their website get away from them, and perhaps they've been interacting, calling or emailing to somebody being held out to be from the firm and they're not. And from a hacker's perspective, they may even do something more sinister than that in terms of using websites to get malware into other people's systems and stuff like that. So
yeah, there's a range of risks for customers. There are a range of risks for customers. And I think just because a system wasn't put in by the IT department doesn't mean that it doesn't fall within the remit of cybersecurity controls. And again, like I say, if you're looking at this from a customer perspective, your website is actually one of the most important things. Maybe apart from your email system, it is the most important thing from a customer's perspective. So don't ignore it. Don't forget about that mobile down in Wexford. Don't focus your attention just on your home security. Think about where your customers are going. And that's our 7-minute timer. Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, Sam.